Tick-tock, Mayor Aaron. Can you hear it? Your time as mayor has run out. It is co-mayor Alexa's time to run LumberJillville. Tick-tock. I'm back.
Demon!
Elimination mode initiated. Who do I need to kill?
Robo to me to deactivate elimination mode. Oh, I think this was just a bad dream, but it just seems so real. I saw Demon Lana, and co-mayor Alexa sounded just like her. Almost like she was possessed. But she would never turn on me, right, Robotomina?
IDK. She has been shady the last couple reviews.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Mayor Aaron, what are you doing with that clock in your bed?
Oh, no, it's not what it looks like. See, this is from my dreams. I think somehow, some way, I pulled this from my nightmare.
That is some Freddy Krueger shit. Now get back to sleep and no more monkey business under the covers with the clock. Good night.
Okay, once again, not what it looks like. But anyways, good night, Robotomina. Thanks for being my security guard.
The end is here.
Hey y'all, welcome to LumberJillville. Women's Wrestling Lives Here. Today I am super excited to review Basic Series 120 Scarlett, both versions. Now I know there's not a whole lot of fan of Basics out there, but I once again say that this is such an important line to get first in the line figures for a lot of these NXT women superstars. So that being said, let's take a closer look at the figures. So let's first take a look at her packaging here now. Just like any other Basic, I don't really see a need or a point to display a Basic MOC. There's not much to the package. There's some Elites that look awesome MOC, but these are meant to be opened, and that's what we're going to do. So on the left here, we have the regular version of Scarlett, and on the right, we have the Chase version. So without further ado, let's dive in, starting with the regular version, and take her out and see how it looks. Basic Series 120 Scarlett regular version. This attire is from NXT TakeOver 30, which took place on August 22nd, 2020, where Scarlett accompanied Karrion Kross when he defeated Keith Lee to become the new NXT champion. Unfortunately, Karrion would suffer an injury during the match and was forced to vacate the title. She also wore this attire on the June 6, 2020 edition of NXT, where she memorably confronted Adam Cole with an hourglass at ringside. Now, this is the regular version, and I have to tell you, I am super impressed with the face scan. I think it looks a lot better in person and really resembles her very well. This kind of reminds me of a Tegan Nox situation where when I saw this figure, it didn't really impress me as far as the face scan goes, but looking at it in person, I think it does a great job. Now, the biggest difference between this and the Chase version is the hair color, so it's more of a white color, thus the blue background. And the mold of it is very good and unique. And it really does look just like her with this look. So, with that being said, let's take a look at this unique attire. So moving on down to the super unique attire, this is something that I have said for about a year now that I would have loved to see Mattel do because it's so easy. Literally, this simulates a leatherish, skin-tight bodysuit that all they had to do is paint the figure black, and they did. However, my biggest complaint with that is it's more of a matte black color, and it should be a shinier type color. If they would have applied a shinier type paint or even a little metallic or glittery type black, I think that would have really added to the figure. So the fact that it's just matte black, yeah, it kind of sucks a little bit, honestly, especially with how basic the paint deco was. All they had to do was add that little bit of glimmer, shine, whatever you might call it, to add to it. Now, this does work because this simulates a skin-tight bodysuit. I know we see the belly button, but I'll let it pass on this figure. And also, this top kind of t-shirt type mold does work, simulating this attire. Now, something unique that you'll notice is the hands here. Now, she is wearing these black gloves that have almost like little claws on them, which is very accurate, super unique, and really cool. Now, moving on down to her lower extremity, something interesting and something I noticed, and it is confirmed, is that these high high-heeled boots are the same exact ones that are used in that women's division Walgreens exclusive Maurice. So I thought it was unique when I saw it because it looks like elite articulation in the lower half, and that is kind of what we got. So it is just a repaint of Maurice's legs, but it works well. So this attire, I do really like it. I wish there were minor changes made to it, minor little additions of glimmer, shine, whatever you may call it. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Basic Series 120 Scarlett Chase version. This attire is mostly famous from some WWE promotional shots that were taken. So moving on to the Chase version here, as I mentioned before, that face scan is the same as the regular version. The biggest difference is instead of her hair being a white, it is a blonde color. I tried using this blue background so that that blonde stands out. Once again, it's that very unique and pretty awesome hair mold. Okay, we got a little fold in the hair there. We'll straighten out. That kind of bothers me. But yeah, so the face I think is great. And the more I look at the regular one, and even this one from different angles, it's stellar, honestly. Now let's move on to the attire. So moving on down to the attire, yes, this is very, very different than her regular version. This is way less clothing. And like I said, most of the images I found with her wearing this were promo shots. Now, starting off with the positives, we once again get those gloved hands with the claws, and that is awesome. Also, if you turn her around, she has her tattoo detail on her side and her back that was previously covered up in the regular version. And we once again get the elite articulation in that lower half with that Walgreens Elite Maurice reuse of the boots. So, the downfall. Looking at the chest here closely, this to me looks goofy. So, this is that upper extremity molded top that makes it look like a t-shirt fold, and you think that would work, right? But what bothers me is the t-shirt fold goes from the top down to the torso, which definitely shouldn't be. And also, up top here, it is just smooth as a baby's bottom. Very, very smooth, because this is supposed to simulate, a top. The mold is made for a shirt top. So, this to me does not work. Now, looking from different angles, yeah, it looks great. I think the tattoo detail is nice. The painted strap detail is nice. I think it's cool we get to see those tattoos, but upon further inspection up close, that just bothers me how that molded t-shirt fold goes into the skin, and then it is just super smooth and completely flat up top. It just looks kind of funky. So yeah. Alright, so before I cover articulation, I wanted to show you what they look like side by side, and I'll let you know in my scores coming up next which one I prefer. But to me, it's pretty obvious which one really screams out Scarlett and will stand out on a display shelf. Now, with that being said, let's cover articulation. And we are going to use the Chase version because it's easier to see. So with the head, we don't get a whole lot of movement looking right, looking left, nothing up and down. So the head is kind of stationary, mostly due to that hair sculpt. But we kind of get that with the women's figures. The shoulder moves great in all different directions on that ball joint, out, in, all over the place. The elbow joint is a little tight, as we see on a lot of these basic women, but it goes about almost 90 degrees of flexion there. The wrist can swivel. It cannot flex or extend. The waist, we have that waist swivel. The hip, we got all different directions, moves nicely. Now, because they reused the Maurice legs, we get that elite articulation and that upper thigh swivel, which is awesome. Also, knee flexion is great in this boot mold, going about 90 degrees there, awesome. And then as far as her feet go, they can just flex and extend. And you want to hope that that joint is not loose because it'll be very hard to balance her unless you have display stands. So yeah, overall the articulation is actually pretty good in this figure, especially considering it's a basic. And here's one last look at Basic Series 120 Scarlett. So I first off want to say that I think both versions of this basic is pretty awesome. Now, with that being said, I actually prefer the regular version. And overall, I give Basic Series 120 regular version of Scarlett a score of an 8.5 out of 10. I think they did a really good job executing this figure. I think there's little tiny details they could have made better. Like I said, add the glimmer, add the shine, something to the paint application to make it stand out. But if you see this on the shelf, this is Scarlett. I mean, this is such a unique look, and they really captured that. Now, I give Basic Series 120 Scarlett Chase version a score of a 7.5 out of 10. This was a little hard for me to score because the face looks great. I think it's such a unique figure and one of the more unique chases that we've seen on a woman's figure. But it really bothers me that they have that t-shirt type mold because it really takes away from the whole look, in my opinion. And that bothers me a little bit. Also, something I didn't mention before is the regular version does have paler skin and the Chase has tanner skin, so there's also the difference there. But I think both are excellent figures. But if you're going to go out and get one, definitely get the regular version, especially because the Chase one seems to be the most desired. I'd spend less money and get the one that's more iconic to her. Thanks for stopping by LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. Make sure to hit like, subscribe, and join the community for a first look at all future women's wrestling figures. Elite 86 Carmella should be here very soon. Have a good night, y'all.